Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm glad you could make it. A couple weeks ago, as some of you might remember, we took some caramel M&Ms. We put them in our Harvest Right freeze dryer and we freeze-dried them for about 5 hours. What happened next was a confectionery transformation that delighted the senses. And almost as quick as we ate up all those M&Ms, I got an email.
If you liked caramel M&Ms, you ought to try freeze-drying Skittles. It will actually blow your mind.
And that is exactly what we're going to be doing today. If I have to be completely honest, I am not a big fan of Skittles. So let's see if the freeze-dried version will change my mind. Here we go. We've got a 3-pound party pack of Skittles. Wow. This should be pretty interesting. I know they're supposed to expand a little bit, and so I don't want to overload the trays. And I think what we're going to do is, for this first run, we're going to start with maybe 1.5 cups of Skittles. That should give them enough room to wiggle around and move around as they're expanding without them sticking to each other, which is what we don't want. It is really easy to create a candy disaster in your Harvest Right freeze dryer, which you don't want to do that. A lot of cleanup. There we go. We've got our 5 trays ready for our freeze dryer. Now we need to customize the settings. So on the freeze dryer, go to the screen and hit Customize. When you go into candy mode, the initial 2 settings, the freeze and the extra freeze time, those are irrelevant. You don't even need to adjust those because those don't matter. To get into candy mode, we're going to increase the temp, and this is where you kind of need to play around with temperatures and results. I think we're going to go to 145 and see what that looks like. But you could go lower and see if you like the results there. And as far as extra dry time, when you're in candy mode, that's the total dry time. So give yourself plenty of drying time. I think we're going to do 4 hours, although I have heard that Skittles don't take very long. So I think 4 hours is plenty. We'll check it at 3. Let's go ahead and hit save. Let's go ahead and hit start. And now the freeze dryer is going to go into a cooling mode, and that's going to take about 15 minutes. After about 15 minutes, now if you happen to walk away and you come back 30 minutes later, this is the screen you're going to be met with, so it won't proceed to the next screen. We do need to hit the candy mode option. So let's just tap that right there. And we need to load the trays and close the drain valve. All right, so that's exactly what we're going to do. Closing that drain valve allows us to create a vacuum inside this chamber, and it's kind of behind the freeze dryer, so I'll just do that off camera. The trays are in. That looks perfect. Kind of excited. I'm not sure what to expect. Let's go ahead and hit continue. Everything's been done. And now you're faced with a really important option. Do you want to warm the trays? This is a cool feature. If you hit start, the unit is going to warm up to 145, and then you can keep it at 145 before turning on the vacuum for a predetermined amount of time. So in this case, it says 1 minute. And what that does is that helps soften the inside of your candy. So in this case, we're doing Skittles, but you could do Jolly Ranchers, Werther's Originals, things like that. And so I'm going to put 3 minutes to warm the tray. And as you can see, once we hit 145 Fahrenheit, that timer starts to count down, and our freeze dryer basically turns into a low temperature oven, and the inside of our candy gets nice and gooey. Now, what this means is that as soon as that vacuum pump turns on, and that's going to happen when this timer runs out, our candy is going to expand. So the longer you warm the tray, the more expansion you're going to get. So this is definitely something you're going to have to play with. Let's go ahead and take a look at our candy and see what happens once the vacuum kicks on, and I'll get back to you. Okay, it's been 2 hours and 40 minutes. I think our Skittles are done. I'm going to hit cancel on the machine to shut the process down and go ahead and take them out of the freeze dryer. Now, if they are done, this is by far the fastest batch of anything that we've put inside the freeze dryer. Let's go ahead and take a peek at what they look like. Wow, this is wild. I mean, look at the expansion of that, what was once a gooey center. I'm imagining is now crispy and crunchy. And, you know, although some of them stuck together, they actually come apart really easy. So it's not that big a deal. So I don't think in this particular case we needed to use that silicone, divider. As long as they're not too puffed up, I would imagine. If they're too puffed up, you might have a problem. Now here is where the temperature that you set your machine at and the time that you put for your tray to warm comes into play. If you want that white part in the center to be smaller, right? You're going to maybe set the temperature a little bit lower. maybe reduce the amount of time that you warm the tray. If you want it to be bigger, which I don't entirely recommend because then it becomes, almost wispy, well, then you would, increase the warming time. But I think these look great and I can't wait to give it a taste. So here we go. Freeze-dried Skittles. Let's see what the hype is all about. Going in. Wow. It's like a super sweet candy explosion in your mouth. Let me try the lime one here. Okay. I gotta admit, I kind of like this version a whole lot better than the original version. That ultra crunchy texture, that super concentrated flavor, I'm loving it. Couple that with how easy it is to make, with how short the processing time is. The freeze-dried Skittles is definitely one you ought to make and probably has a pretty decent perceived value if you want to begin, a freeze-dried business. You could probably sell some Skittles. The one problem that I have with this candy is that it's way too easy to eat. I'm over here popping these things like popcorn, and that can be dangerous. If you plan on making freeze-dried Skittles, be warned. Thanks a lot for watching this video. That's all I got for you today. If you want more information on the Harvest Right freeze dryer, I'll put a link in the description box below. And if you have any questions about freeze-drying candy, leave them in the comment section. If you like this video or got anything out of it, a great big thumbs up is always appreciated. If you are new to this channel and you like food preservation or you just like doing weird things with food, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell because we've got all kinds of videos on the horizon. Don't want you to miss a single one. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.